I'm back. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I ran out of quarters. Can you guys hear me now? Give me a one. Somebody give me a one. Should be good. Ugh. Yeah, tell your loved ones. Oh, man, that sucks. Cowboy Cool, welcome to the show, but sorry to hear that. Okay, good. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. If you love college football, you know you're in the right place. Thank you for being patient with this. I don't know what just happened, but everything was turned on. Shouldn't have been a problem. Don't know what it was, but yeah, whatever that was. You have to put quarters in the machine, then pull down the handle. Thanks, Shotty. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, happy Michael Fasusi Day. Hopefully it turns out to be Michael Fasusi Day. It looks, all signs are pointing to Oklahoma getting first, probably their highest rated offensive tackle, offensive lineman, I think, in the history of these recruiting numbers. Whoa. Theo East got arrested for failure to appear in court. Oh, no. Theo, what did you do? Yeah, listen, I think it's going to be a big day for everybody. I'm going to probably go 30, 45 minutes here, guys. I'm freaking tired. I worked all night and after the show last night. So we'll talk about some of this stuff, some of the other stuff going on. Talk about Fasusi. You guys, maybe a couple of you guys want to jump on and talk about it a little bit. I appreciate it. You can. I will actually put the link in the chat right now. So when you guys want to jump in and talk a little bit about it. But look, big day, though. A lot of this stuff that we've been talking about in terms of the guys that you got to have to compete in the SEC, these are the kind of guys you got to have to compete in the SEC. It's in the trenches is where it matters. All the questions that are coming, we've said it a ton of times in here that all the questions coming about the offensive linemen, whether they're 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever, it's not one of those things that we can, tend to worry about too much, right? Because we just don't. Because Bill Bedenbaugh, he is able to identify and build up this talent and get these guys where they need to be. Now, obviously, the questions continue to come, though, this year. Obviously, going into the SEC, first time playing in this there. We got Texas Nightmare. Okay, let's see. Texas Nightmare. Huh. Don't think I'm letting you in, bro. Don't think I'm letting you in. No. In Texas Nightmare, the one that's always in here talking all that trash. Hey, what's up there, John? What's up, bro? Good to see you. Look, this is a big deal. Tell me who this guy is, the Texas Nightmare guy. Isn't he the dude always in here talking all that trash? Like, too far trash? Somebody tell me. John, I appreciate you coming on last night, man. It was a good show. It's a good show. We had fun with it. Yeah, there was a show last night, Benji. You missed it. How'd you miss it? Yeah, he's not kicking him out of there. All right. I think I don't think it let him in because I think we've got him booted because of some of the stuff that he said last time, and it wasn't even letting his stuff connect. So sorry, but not sorry. Not hearing it right now. So I guess right now, I mean, it's not a guarantee that you're going to see Michael Fasusi sign. From all we've heard all this time, and we've been talking about it a lot, it appears that it is Oklahoma. I think even the Texas creators are more or less on that, believing that as well. Yeah. Hello there, Kimberly K. Welcome into the show. Let me say hello to everybody else who's in here as well. Benji, welcome in. Hey, High Top Sports. What's up, my dude? Good to see you, my man. Sooner Cowboys. We got our boy John in here from last night. Good to see you. Eric Reher, T-Boomer, Drew, J Fez. Glad to see all you guys in here. Man, it's an exciting day, though, man. It's one of those things like we talked about. You got to get these guys, man. You do. You have to get the big talent, the ones that if you're going to battle in the trenches in the SEC, you got to go get these guys. And to protect your quarterback, left tackle is key. Now, obviously, this isn't the only big offensive lineman they got this year. They also, have a commitment already from another guy that could be a 5-star offensive tackle as well by the time the cycle is over with. So, he's proving that. And then you also had, well, let's see. We'll just go in here and look at the whole list so I don't forget anybody, but no, not that one. Dude. So, yeah, Ryan Foji, you already have, and then Darius Afalava. That was the other one I was thinking about. Another 4-star talent, 6'5", 320. They're bringing in big boys, bringing in some big boys, the guys that you're going to need to have. Very important. Obviously, Owen Hollenbeck as well, coming in from Melissa, Texas. So it's good stuff there. What's up there, Neely? Oh, Jimmy Satterfield. Good. You trying to get in trouble here? You try to get booted. I don't even have to be the one that does it, Rob. That's funny. Good morning there, Neelio. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, bud. What's up there, Hankster? What's going to happen to Buchard if he goes on the Miami trip? It's a good question. You know what? You remember what happened with the kid that first year? Or was it, going into the second year or whatever? They moved on from him. Of course, he was that kid, right? Or he came from Indiana maybe or something. Seems like I remember that. I didn't know that was coming up. I hate to hear that, though. That's not good. Not good. What do you think will happen there, Hankster? What did Kel say? What did he say it on? Did he say it was it? Oh, he was on with the twerp crew last night. Isn't that right? I think he is too, man. But it's now. See, here's the one thing about but if you go, the thing about Brent Venables, I don't know how much you know about this, John, but he doesn't want you to commit until you're committed. So he's actually taken away scholarships from guys and moved on from them for this. The only time there's 2 times that he allowed something like that. And one was obviously with the kid at Texas. His dad he was a legacy. I never expected that dude here, right? But he went to the Red River as a guest of Texas that year, obviously, and then he flipped that next week. Then you had the receiver that went to the Georgia game, and he allowed that one, but he flipped as well. So to me, oh, really? I love the way he's good morning, Mom. What's up there? How you doing? Thank you. I don't know. It's been one of those things that's actually worked out very well in their favor because he just tells them not to commit. And generally speaking, you're going to have a few here and there that is going to do that, right? But he will pull it. He's done it before. He did it with. He would have been a portal kid from. I want to say Indiana that he had pulled it from them, and he was coming Vosick, Colton Vosick, but well, of course he was. He was a legacy. Yeah, his dad played there, so was what it was. But it's in the end, I kind of figured that was going to be how it was. When it came to Vosick, nobody, Oklahoma fans that really expected that dude to be at OU, I think it was a little wishful thinking just as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Look, I think and here's the thing, if you're going to be about your word, you got to be about your word. And that's one that we talked about it before when it happened. Culture is what you do all the time, not when it suits what you want, right? It's got to be all the time. Yeah, see exactly what. Yeah, John, exactly. So you either do it or you don't. And so that's when, look, when you start changing the way that you do things, there's even if it's the smallest thing, it's a little chink in the armor, and they stop believing and buying into what you're doing. Right? They just do. Now, do I understand wanting to take a trip to Miami? Of course. Of course. But if you're Brent Venables, you don't want him going to Miami. Miami's somebody that recruits very well. And I mean, they're liable to throw everything out. Look, don't commit yet. Go on all your trips. And that's what he does. He tells everybody to do that. Don't commit. Go take all your trips. We want you to take all your trips. Then when you're ready to actually make the commitment, then make it. So it is what it is. I think that we knew for a long time last year that David Stone was more or less a lock. We felt like, I mean, I know there were some times that he played it pretty well, but we figured that it was happening because he was always at Oklahoma, always, always, always. But he took his visits, and they all kind of took their visits, but it's worked out well. I mean, they've had all top 10 recruiting classes since he got here. This will definitely be a big. Boucard is a big known, yeah. But he looks like he's going to be good, man. But doesn't he already live in Miami anyway? So what does he need to go on the visit to the campus for? They don't even have a freaking stadium. So they're Stink, you out of here? I think you're talking about the Vasic thing. Hmm. Are you? Oh, really? Well, it is what it is. Look, I think that again, though, if you're going to do it, you got to do it. You got to stick to what it is. And this is something that they did at Clemson. They've continued to do that at Clemson. I heard Dabo talking about it last year, the last cycle. It is what it is. Not everybody will stick to that, but look, this is all part of that. You build that relationship, and they know that you mean business. And when you prove that you mean business, then they know. Once you allow that to go on, then you're it is what it is. If there is going to be a flip, who's this 5-star DT that you're talking about? I don't watch recruiting shows, guys. You don't know this. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what it means. It happens. It is what it is. I mean, you're going to lose some. It wouldn't matter. Look, if you're supposed to lose Boucard, you're going to lose him anyway. I mean, I think I've said it a bunch of times. I love what Shawty's always saying, that no matter what, if you're going to get the kids on money or whatever it is, you're going to lose them to that too. So if he's already made that commitment, knowing that that's your rule, that we're not having it, you either go take all your visits, then make your decision. We're good with that. We don't have a problem with that. And then you come and want to go take a visit, he's not going to have it. Now, I know, thinking back on that time that happened before with the transfer kid, it feels like he had committed, and here's what it is. The real reason behind it, it's not just that they just want to hold you down or whatever. They do, but they don't. They're not going to continue to hold that scholarship for you. They're committing to take that scholarship off the board. They're going to stop recruiting somebody else that they would normally be recruiting in your place once you make that commitment. But that's provided you're not going to take visits. So it works both ways, What do you mean polar opposites? Yeah. I don't know. This is the first I've heard about it. And I mean, I don't watch it as close as a lot of these guys do. I mean, I pay attention, but it's not one of those things where I'm in there paying as much attention as like PG and Jay and Coop and those guys. I mean, they're on top of it. Then of course obviously the the insiders are like that, so that's their thing. Oh, really? I don't blame you. I feel you. I used to pay for that site early on, but you guys know how I feel about Parker. Not happening. It may be on 3, though. I do pay for that one. I like the guys at on 3, though. Let's see what we see. I haven't seen anything yet, but we'll see. When did that pop up? Just happen? Yeah. Well, I don't know that it hasn't really worked out for him, though. And you know what? This is right. There's not enough scholarships to go around, and it is something that you have to leverage what you have. And look, if they're going to say, hey, we're going to commit to you, if you're saying that you're coming here, we're going to take that scholarship off the board. We're not going to give it to somebody else. We're not going to, and so somebody else they would normally be recruiting, they're losing out on time to recruit that guy if you have committed to him because they're done now. You have to do it. 247 article. Okay. I had 247 up a minute ago, but I don't think it was working. Yeah. But I mean, as far as like you were saying, Dabo, and he's still recruiting well. Not quite as well as they used to, but they're still doing pretty good. I mean, they landed a nice class this last cycle. Looks like they're in pretty good shape right now. I don't know. let's check these classes again. It keeps screwing up. Rankings. Yeah, Clemson. Well, no, they're behind Oklahoma for sure this time around. But I want to say last cycle they were pretty high. 11th, so they weren't in the top 10. See, and that's what tells you that if you start looking at that, they're certainly going the other way. I would give you that, Benji. I think you're probably right. They're I don't understand why everybody's picking Clemson because they're going the other way. They're not getting any portal guys. I think there's a balance there, but getting none. Yeah, I think that he's going there. Yeah, I think it's been like that for a while now. We've known. I know this. PG talks to that dude a lot, and he's been saying all year that Michael Fasusi is going to be a Sooner. And even when, all the Texas guys were saying he was going to go to Texas and all that stuff, PG was like, nah, he's not. So. What happened? Dominic McKinley. He was, well, that one was pretty close. I know his family really liked. Now I know a guy that he knows a lot of the folks there in like New Orleans and all around Louisiana that he was saying all along that he was never going to go to Texas, from what it sounded like, and he wasn't going to go to LSU because at that time, whoever they had there that was the defensive line coach, I guess the word was that they had kind of bullshitted his mom around a little bit about something, and she knew that they had, and she didn't like it. So, I think I don't know exactly they fired him though, of course, at one point anyway, because they fired the whole staff, so they had to bring in other people. But they definitely had to work on that, and he was committed to A&M until Jimbo left, so he was definitely going to go But he was close to Oklahoma too, and his mother really liked Oklahoma, but it was distance. It's what it was all about, was just where it was, proximity to home. PG's been all over it. Yeah. Well, and we know A&M throws the bags, you know. We know that happens. So I was looking at one of the where is that thing? So Jonah Williams, of course, you know, everybody, it's been looking like he's going to A&M. Now he's supposed to make his decision on what, Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. But now On3 is favoring Oregon all of a sudden. But latest intel is saying here on On3, several sources believe this one is coming down to LSU and Texas. I don't know. It's wild. But they definitely do pay. You know, maybe. I mean, we heard from some of the guys that left A&M that they don't pay. That there's a lot of promises that don't get kept. So, I don't know. No, of course, that could have been, you know, Ross Bjork, and of course, you know how Jimbo was. All full of shit. For Jonah? Well, so the guy here is saying, this is Wilt Fong actually is saying this. I continue to hear his dialogue with Texas A&M remain steady and just as positive as it's always been. So you can't rule out the Aggies. In fact, that's where my current On3 RPM sits. But the Tigers and Longhorns will at the very least have grabbed a lot of momentum at the end of the summer. Williams finalists round out with USC and Oregon. So Oklahoma apparently is out of it, according to Wilt Fong. Nolan was upset. He wasn't the only one though either. Wow. Again, but that would just tell you that, what did I say just a minute ago about what Shoddy says all the time? If you get them with money, you lose them to money. That's it. And he wasn't the only one saying that stuff either, by the way. He wasn't. So that's where I would say, you know, it's one of those deals. Distance is also a factor for Jonah. I agree. And the other thing that's a factor is his baseball stuff. I mean, I think he's a first rounder right now, immediately. So I kind of think it's kind of what it is, right? FU visit. Okay, UF visit. Okay. But where's High Top? Where's High Top? Did he leave? We got him. Don't know. Cool. What's up there, Satterfield? That's how you got Overton at Bama. Misused him. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, again, there was a lot of stuff that was getting shady. I mean, you know, they remember that video where they were pointing at the skyboxes and all that stuff inside of the stadium and all that. What do you got? What do you got there, Steven? You want to come in here and tell us about it? You don't have to put your face on, but you can. I'll put you back in there if you want. Here's the link if you want to pop in. It's a visit along with his whole high school team. The plot thins. I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe he won't be able to do anything about that. Yeah. Yeah, no joke. It's definitely one of them deals. Bishop Frank.
Yes, sir.
What's up there, Bishop Frank? Welcome to the show.
Hey, just dropping a line, just getting in there.
What's up, man? Okay,
Man, it's D-Day.
Texas A&M. What'd you say?
Hey, it's D-Day.
It's D-Day. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I think everything's gonna be fine, but apparently you don't think that would ruffle BV's feathers since it was the whole high school that's right next to him. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that could also be Miami's way of being sneaky about it and getting to recruit him.
It's a you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's Miami, bro. They're dirty. They're gonna do what they do.
Right. And they know that we just been beating them at the point. So now they're just trying to be messy.
Yeah. That's what it is. This is what it is. I mean, look, it's like I said, sometimes you're not going to get them. Sometimes you're not going to hold them. What are you going to do? And if this is true, what the insiders are saying, and who's to say that that's the case, but whoever this 5-star defensive tackle is that's looking to flip, if that is true, then maybe that's what they want.
All I know is, where did they come to get that person, if that's the truth?
No. And John is saying that it's a yearly trip at 6 schools in Miami that do it every year. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
maybe
all we know is
maybe it's nothing, man. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe there's a little fire, but whatever. We'll figure it out.
Sooners never flinch. That's all I say.
Sooners never flinch. Yeah. Hey, man, I've been, I know it's something that it gets people wound up. We know that. But I'm not that guy that gets that crazy about recruiting. Now, do I want to see him get great recruits? Of course I do. Do I think Floyd Boucard's going to be a great recruit? I do. But I think once you get, I think whoever you end up landing that's who they made the strongest connection with. And because we know that it's not just a money thing for Oklahoma. They're not going to do it just on money, because they are truly dedicated to protecting. They want to protect the culture of that locker room. And you hear it all the time from BV. It's I don't know, man. Consistency is a key, and he keeps it consistent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, he'd been standing on business, and because he's standing on business and went through the fire, hey, we're starting to win the ones we need to win. That's truly with us. And those who have to make a decision, were you really with us in the beginning?
Right. Yeah, look, and that's where that tells you when, because he tells every one of them, I don't want you to commit until you're ready to stop going on trips and doing all that stuff. We don't want you to not take recruiting visits. He's not telling them not to go. He's telling them to go to all of them and then commit whenever he's ready.
And I want the family to remember, these are 17 to 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah, they do change their minds. That's definitely true. Hello there, Sooner Branding. Welcome into the show. It is what it is,
Yeah, but no, I just wanted to drop in. I know you y'all doing y'all thing. Wanted you to run it hot.
Yeah,
and that's right.
Arms down. Team Vols, he says, much as I don't want to like Oklahoma, I have to pull for you guys. Horns down. Can't wait for the trip to Norman. It's going to be a fun game, man. We're excited about Josh coming back to. I think we're excited about the game all together. First SEC game, you're going to go up against Josh Hype and a really good football team. So you're going to get a little test there. I'm excited. I think you got a good opportunity to win, but I think you could also lose it. So it's fun, man. It's good stuff, man. We're excited. I know I'm excited about it. Yeah. So, yeah, you do have to, and Shawty's saying it right. It's, as a player, Shawty, I would just say, as a player, how would you I mean, you pay attention to that stuff. How does he handle this? How does he handle that? If it starts getting inconsistent, that's when you start ruffling the feathers of the players, and some guys care less about it. Some guys are more apt to do stuff like that. They don't really care. If we lock Pierce down, that's the problem. Jonathan Lewis, what's up there, my dude? Oh,
what's going on?
It's the wrong button there. What's up, bro?
So I just found it. They released an article that Oklahoma's going after Malik Autry. So he's a lineman that committed to Auburn, but he was supposedly supposed to go to Alabama. Now, he committed to Auburn, and it looks like Oklahoma's going after him. That's who the flip is.
Okay. Well, if it is indeed a trip that they all take, now I guess would you have to go if you're him?
So
probably not. But why would you not?
Here's my take on that. So Hoover has to visit Alabama, Tuscaloosa, right, every year. Now, the university donates money to this school. So I think this may be one of those cases that we're like, hey, you're not required to go.
Yeah.
But these people are donating money. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's what's going on, but you need to be there. You're a highly touted guy. You probably should at least show your face.
Yeah. No, and I get it. I mean, there's lots of little squirmy things that happen on the recruiting trail anyway. We all know that. And I mean, I think for the most part, it has worked very well. And I think at first, Oklahoma fans were like, what the fuck are we doing? They didn't like it at all. It scared the shit out of them. And like the idea of, that they're going to go anyway or whatever. Or the part that I think that they didn't like was that he wouldn't let them commit until they were going to stop going on it. So these guys would still be going. And every time they go on a visit, of course, the folks that are watching every move are freaking the hell out. And there's plenty of those fans in every fan base, but there's definitely a lot of them here.
Yeah, Auburn has done that to Alabama this year because we've had going on possibly 3 flips from Alabama to Auburn, and both times Antonio Coleman and Derek Smith visited Auburn. They committed to Auburn like the following day, like they flipped. It was horrendous. And now we're looking at Turbo Rogers at Alabama doing possibly the exact same thing. So we're possibly about to lose 3.
I was fixing to say, which one is the one that got arrested just recently?
I want to say it was Coleman. Antonio Coleman or Derek Smith is one of those. It wasn't Turbo Rogers.
That they found a bunch of weed on him or something.
Yep. Which, I mean, look, if you guys know anything about
most states, but
Alabama it is, and I'm telling you right now,
that's what I hear.
It plagues Alabama and Auburn and all the schools there. We've been hit with so many players being busted for weed. Alvin Kamara was at Alabama.
Yeah.
He started off there and he got busted with weed not once but twice. And Saban finally booted him off the team. So that's how he ended up at Tennessee.
That's right. He was at Tennessee after that. I forgot about that. Alvin Kamara. He was a stud, but hey, man, they get in trouble. Sometimes they get in trouble, man. I mean, it is what it is. We had plenty of that go on at Oklahoma too. I don't usually.
They're young.
They're kids. They're kids, man. They do stupid shit.
Yeah, I did stupid stuff.
You too. I still do.
Saying exactly.
Time to time, I still do stupid stuff. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a big thing. We're not even bad mouthing Alvin Kamara. We're just saying that's what happened. But whatever happened with that one kid, he kept flipping back and forth from Alabama though. You're in trouble with the weed too, right?
Yeah. So that was Antonio Coleman was the one he flipped 4 times. By the way,
from Auburn, Bama,
to Alabama, back to Auburn. No, actually, started off at Alabama. So Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, then back to Auburn is what he did. And it's one of those things to where me and Jake Morrell just talked about this on a video. Like, bro, it's kind of like what Brent Venables says. Like, if you're going to commit. Like, you know what I mean? And seeing it once is fairly normal when you see somebody flip. Seeing it twice is like, it's a lot more rare. But 3 times, like you see them move, like, bro, come on. There's a point.
Yeah. No, I think most people have come to this conclusion, what Sooner Brand is saying here too. I agree with you. I think that now you're seeing it's all good. Let him go because that's showing that you want. I mean, and he is true about it. Hey, go do your visits. There's nothing wrong with going on all your visits. In fact, I would probably go on all the visits that I wanted to go on to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can make your decision. Now, I think there's been some silent commits in there so that they could still, you hear that sometimes, so they could still do whatever. But I know there's also a lot of these kids that get sick of it all. That it's
yeah.
You always got them on the phone, and you know everybody's calling you when they like to be able to go ahead and shut it down. Now some kids love it because they like to, you know, they get pampered a little bit and they're probably getting a little money out of it.
The red carpet.
Larry Boxley says they smoke weed. I'm shocked. College kids. Yeah, me too, man. Drinking too. I've never seen such a thing. You know, I went to college, never drank.
Not one time.
But
yeah, and I kind of like I like the way Justice Terry is handling his situation. He, you know, he's a very highly touted recruit. Sure. And what he said, you know, about a month and a half ago was like, I'm not releasing no more information. Stop contacting me. Shut down any interviews with 24/7 Sports, On 3 Rivals, Max Preps, all of them.
After he decommitted from Lincoln.
Yep, exactly. And he's like, I will give my commitment early signing day in December. Other than that, do not contact me. And I think it was one of those things where he visited everybody he wanted to visit. He saw everything he wanted to see and got tired of the hoopla, right? And that's kind of what he said. It was like it was overwhelming.
It got to be too damn much. And it's that you're constantly being pulled out in every direction. And I think that it comes down a lot of times these kids, their families are getting pulled at, and they're pressuring them. And it's a lot of shit to deal with, especially when you're going through your senior year of your senior football season too. Like, hey man, let me focus and play and do my thing. And some of them are just football players, you know, they just want to play. So, you know, they don't want to go through all the bullshit. And that's where I think Venables says this a lot. Hey, we don't throw a big net out in the ocean and see what we can pick up. We are intentional about what we do. We want the guys that we want, and that's who we're going to target. To me, I think that it's always been that Nick Saban was always that way. He's going to go out to the guys he wants to go after. You see that with Kirby Smart. You see that with all the ones that are winning and winning consistently. That's what they do. Dabo was picking up, going through 247, and every 5-star go after that guy, you know. And Dabo was a knucklehead, but it is what it is. If you're not doing it, or if you're not trying to find guys that fit your culture and what you're doing, you recruit your problems. That's an old saying that is as true as it gets. Yeah,
that's good. I like that. You recruit your problem. I got to steal that from you, man. That's good.
It was stolen. I stole it too, so you can have it. You know, it's definitely come from it. You hear it a lot. I mean, you definitely recruit your own problems, and I think that's been true forever. You know, some kids but the other part with Oklahoma is they do the soul mission stuff, you know, which they do that at Clemson and everything. So they really are. And I truly believe that, yes, you got to pay these kids. You have to. It's coming. That's what it is. They're there now. And that's fine. Yeah. But if you're not recruiting on something aside from money, then what are you really doing? And that's not. I know Kirby Smart talks about it a lot. I'm not going to talk about money with these kids right away. If ever. This is that we were talking about the whole the GM situation last night. That takes it out of the worry box of a head coach. He doesn't have to deal with the shit. Doesn't want to.
Concentrates on certain things. Yeah. And I love the Tennessee Vols comment comparing somebody that just went to a national championship last year to Brian Harsin. Couldn't be farther from the truth. But yeah, it's a nice try, but not even close.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys know, but DeBoer was in the national championship last year after the second season at Washington.
With less talent than he has at Alabama right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were probably a little better in the wide receiver room, but you know.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely were with Polk, Anuze, and you know Bernard was there as well. So
one of the best receivers I've ever seen in college, man. He was unbelievable, and there was a lot of really good receivers in college football last year. But I liked him better than I liked the rest of them. He was unreal. Dabo's going to cripple that. Yeah, she's hold on. Let's see, 17, 18-year-old kids who really need to enjoy that time. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, once you're done with all of it, you can go on all your visits and then you make your commitment. That's when he's going to hold you to it. He's not trying to tell any kid not to go. He never has. Dabo's going to cripple that Clemson program if he's not careful. I think he already has. Guys. They were in the year that Venables last year there, they were what, 10-2?
Yeah.
Missed the playoff. Then the next year, 9-3. Then 9-3 again, and then last year they went 8-4. And he's talking about that the kids in the portal aren't good enough to play at Clemson. Buddy, you were 8-4. Your offensive line isn't that good.
Yep.
And you keep blaming quarterbacks, but I think that Penix was good too. He said, "You do know DeBoer got smoked. Had a QB in Penix that carried him through a week." Well, carried him through Texas.
I was about to say, who did he beat in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I'm just, and wasn't Penix a first round pick, a top 10 pick?
I felt like that might have been a bit of a reach, but he did.
No, absolutely was. Me, late first round at best, and that's at best for me for Penix. But I'm no scout, right? So,
well, I don't know. I mean, I think that he was pretty good, but I don't. It just weird the way. Only reason I say it was a reach is because they just went and paid all that money to Kirk Cousins. It was such a weird decision.
$180 million just to pick.
Kirk Cousins. I mean, what are you doing? Yeah.
If you would have gave me $180 million, of course I'd be fine. I don't have $180 million. But then you pick my predecessor, most likely, like the same year. Like,
yeah.
Come on now, bro.
Right. Yeah. Harsin also dominated at Boise. He dominated what? I mean, they may have won their conference, but what did he never went to a playoff or any of that kind of stuff?
Did he go to a national championship in his second year? Like, are we really going to sit here and try to defend Harsin?
Brian Harsin, yeah, dude.
Like,
what was that? Now, what was going on? What was exactly going on there? Because they didn't give him time at all. Was there was some shady shit going on over there? Or
Supposedly, the accusations were he was with his secretary or you know what I mean, something along those lines. I don't know how true that was, man. I just know that I believe Auburn can be an extremely good program, but they find ways.
They're pretty toxic, aren't they? Though
exactly, they create distraction in every direction, right? So, and then you bring in Hugh Freeze, which, let's be real, like he has been known to be toxic. So I mean, like, it fits in a sense. You need toxicity to run the toxicity.
It's true. It was an awful quick honeymoon period. Was over fast there. It seemed very fast. I was like, what the hell? Why did you even hire this guy? It sounds like they hate him immediately. Why would they even hire him?
After his fall camp, like Charles Barkley. Yeah, it was Charles Barkley that came out and speaking out against Harsin. And I was like, my God, dude, like,
wow,
you have well-known guys coming out after just a fall camp saying this just the fit doesn't look right. And he definitely, the commenter,
he may have been in over his head a little bit, matter what. I think that was clear watching a couple of their games that they weren't very good. But
yeah. And T. Vols has a point. He says he didn't fit the Auburn culture. I do believe that. I believe he didn't fit the Auburn
agree
culture.
With that. Yeah, clearly. They didn't. I mean, it didn't take long to kick his ass right out of there. But why would you go after a West Coast guy if you're Auburn? He'd always coached at places like that. Why go there? It fairly surprised me a little bit when Alabama went after, because I believe that was their target. It wasn't Dan Lanning. It certainly was not Mike Norvell, and Sark said it wasn't him. He said that he never got offered the job. And I knew that was coming. Now they all got their money, and I understand all that, but there was no way that. Yeah, he did coach at Texas. I knew that, but I don't know. Man. Maybe so, but I know that I think he's from out on the West Coast. I don't know how much he was a South guy, but that could also be just a narrative that got thrown out there too. But just like DeBoer really wasn't a guy that had spent a lot of time in the South, but they're little different personalities, it looks like. And DeBoer they're winning guys over there. They're winning guys over there. Now, I know you've had some decommits and all that stuff lately. I don't know exactly what I was going there.
Yeah. So and Tennessee Vol says Dan Lanning was the guy. Yeah, that came out to be untrue. It was every administration, but even Oregon released a statement saying he was never contacted.
There is no way that he turns that. Just like every other coach leaves Oregon, he would have left Oregon.
And Dan Lanning and Nick Saban and Alabama never. I don't know if you guys know the extent of this, but it's kind of like not to the extent of Kirby Smart, but him and Saban never got along. So the fact that he was going to come there, if you actually listen to people that were on the inside, like everybody was saying it wouldn't have fit because Saban was going to stay at Alabama no matter what. Whether they didn't know the role exactly, right? Obviously, he's basically an admin at some point for $500,000.
Sure,
but he's still there helping. So, yeah,
it's a great thing for Womack. I think that's a great thing. I wish it wasn't happening as being an outsider and being like, "Damn it, man! I'd love it if Alabama would stop kicking everybody's ass." So,
I mean, don't get me wrong though. There's going to be a downturn for Alabama. It won't be massive, but it will be.
No, I think, well, you said it last night. You could see them, the 9-3 thing could happen.
Yeah,
but I would tell you that I've talked to other Alabama fans that are going to be like, no, we'll be on his ass. That will be on his head if he goes 9-3, because they're not having it.
You got to give this guy time. You got to give not everybody's Nick Saban, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody. You know what I mean? Like, Barry Switzer. Not everybody's these guys.
His first year either, or his second. And, it doesn't come right away all the time. It is what it is. I remember those teams that Shula was coaching. It was not good at Bama those last couple of years. It was not good. So, spoiled as they may be now after 17 years, you have to expect at least a little bit of a downturn, I would think. Now, I also think, though, as long as this talent, if they can continue to pull guys like they're pulling in recruiting, and they can hold on to them, obviously, that we know the guy could coach, man. We know the guy could coach.
Yep.
He's, 104-12. That's what else?
Yeah, and one of the comments that passed by here is Sumer Brandon. Exactly, that's what I was going to point to. Yeah, he went 7-6 after winning the bowl game. But the thing about it is key thing to remember, I believe it was Louisiana Monroe that we lost to in the first year he was there. Like, I remember us losing that game, and Saban lost his. He lost his ever damn mind. Like and that's when we had our mass exodus of players. Right, it was actually about 2 or 3 days after that game.
It has to happen, though, man. You have to get rid of some of that shit.
We had players.
It's called pruning.
Players, in the past eating chicken wings during halftime, dude. This was openly known. Like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? So that's what Saban had to take over, was this type of culture.
Yeah, he's like, no,
we're not doing that. Yeah, I remember when that came out, though, man. They're like, it was. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was in like 2005 or 6. They were like, Alabama. Then they got trashed for that. They got dogged out. Talking about these players are eating wings at halftime. What the hell is going on there? Like, but hey.
Yeah, listen, man, it's we start when, not to get into a huge Lincoln Riley thing, but the culture was not right with Lincoln. They got softer and softer and softer year to year. And I've said this a bunch of times, it looked good because you were winning a shitty Big 12 at the time. That was right when they hired Kleiman. He hadn't had time to get them good yet. Texas was shitty. They've been shitty. When Baylor and Oklahoma State are your only real competition in the league right at that moment, Iowa State, out of nowhere, Iowa State comes and they're competing for it. Something ain't right. Nobody wins 6 in a row in any conference anywhere. It just, you could say the Big 12, and I don't think that it was always that way, but it had gotten that way. When everything happened with the Longhorn Network and you started getting the mass exodus, Nebraska, Missouri, A&M, Colorado, they're all leaving. And then they didn't even bother to refill after the last 2. And the no conference championship, I think TCU wins the national championship that year if they played that game and they get in that playoff. They were ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And yeah, no, you bring up, and look, I made a video on my old channel. I try to look at both sides of the coin when I try my best to be unbiased, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
I made a video on, does Lincoln Riley deserve some flowers from the aspect of he won 4 Big 12 championships in a row out of 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
he
no,
did go to the
it was
playoffs.
6 in a row. It was 6 in a row conference championships for Oklahoma. He won 4 of them, 4 or 5.
He won 4, I believe, because he was there 5 years as a head coach.
Yeah.
Right. So if I remember correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are the OU fans, but
I think he was maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's right.
I can't remember exactly. But
Blitz City, good to see you, my man. Thanks for coming in.
But for sure, like, and the more it's like I made the video, then I go back and look, and I'm like, man, it's hard for me to take up for Lincoln because of what he did with Alex Grinch, and he held on to this guy, and then, like you said, it just made me feel like there was no effort on the defensive side, whatsoever, and it hurts. And I go back and look at the recruiting he did,
and it was also Benny Wiley and the yoga instruction. They did not have a real strength and conditioning.
So that's real. Okay, so that's a real thing.
Absolutely real.
I did not know that was a real thing. I heard it, because once again, like, I just kept hearing it, but I didn't know that was an actual thing.
Yeah. Oh, it was real. It's real.
Oh my God.
It's real. And I mean, Ben G will tell you that. Ben G will tell you that because he was at Texas before that. And they all think he sucked at it too. And so look, think about this. So Michael Tarquin, he was at Florida and he was a freshman All-American.
Yep.
He lost 25 pounds immediately when he got to SC. 25 pounds. And then since he got to Oklahoma, they were worried about him at first. Like, man, he wasn't that good last year. And I've had guys on this show that have been like, there's a couple of USC guys that come in here, and they're like, yeah, right, Tarquin sucks and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, he wasn't that terrible at Florida, But
yeah, no, he wasn't.
And now I think most people have him penciled in as the left tackle right now. So he gained weight. He got stronger. He worked with Beaton-Bow. Here we go. But, I mean, not to say that it's a set in stone, but I'm just saying it is what it is. But it was – yeah.
I can't get over that. I'm, like, thinking about it. I'm like, what makes you think this is good? Like –
I don't know.
Wow.
But it's, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know why he went after Schmitty's had, like, what is it? I think he's trained – at least 5 Heisman Trophy winners.
It's close to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 4 or 5, something like that, Heisman winners. Yeah. So, and I mean, the proof is in the pudding with these guys.
Stephen G.
P90X
master.
I told you we call him we call him the either the yoga instructor or P90X. They've been calling him that a lot. I call him Tybo instead of Tebow. Tebow and Tybo. So,
Mars Jam on here. You got it. Mars Jam. You got it backwards, bro. It's neck beard. That's what it was, not beard neck.
Beard
Come
neck.
on now. You got it backwards, bro.
Make the big look weak. Oh, dude, they're soft. We know they're soft. Soft. I mean, hey. Bear Alexander lost weight when he got there. Now they're talking that, and last year, so there was that the guy from the Trojan. He's always on with the Voice of College Football, Tim Prangley, and I was on that show, and he was talking about the guy that they called Stick, and he's not a stick anymore. And I was like, we know this guy, we know better, but okay. So yeah, it was funny. It was funny, beard neck. He said it again.
It's not as good as neck beard, bro.
It's not as good. But it is funny.
See, and this is what I love about. Look, I like Oklahoma. I respect him so much.
Yeah.
But guys, just because I say he deserves a little bit of flowers is not going in on Tebow. Sorry. Like it's kind of like me. I can't stand Mike Shula.
He's the best offensive guy in the country, man. It's not really close. I feel that now Jake will tell me. Nope, it's DeBoer. Okay, fine. we can have that argument if you want. But I would tell you, when it comes to scheming up an offense that's going to get guys open, nobody's like Lincoln. Nobody.
Yeah,
So,
in my opinion, it's a top 3. I like DeBoer, but I think it's a top 3. I think it's Lincoln's, Steve Sarkisian, and Lane Kiffin when it comes to separation and getting these guys open.
Yeah.
And I think Lincoln was just ahead of the curve, right, when it comes to the offense.
He always was too.
Yeah.
He always was. So he's, to me, but I think that Lincoln's a piece of shit. There's no doubt about that. He definitely showed that. He did what he did recruiting for SC throughout the season that he left. He knew what he was doing. And then you're seeing so many examples of him being he's a beta male, man. That's the other part. He's a freaking beta male. And just the way that he handled the Big Ten media days, and just excuse after excuse after excuse. I think he's on his way out, man. I don't know that it's this year. You keep hearing that they're not going to fire him this year. 7-5 again. 7-5 again. I don't know that they keep him.
I think the contract binds them for at least one more season. If it wasn't for the fact they bought this dude a $6 million house
and $110 million contract too. I mean, it's like $11 million a year.
And then they paid $500,000 over market value for his house in OU, right? So, and then unlimited use of a private jet. So it's like, you know what I mean? So I think they handcuffed themselves.
You got to pay for those. You got to have something, right?
Yeah.
Win some more games. The Heisman Trophy winner, and you go 7-5. Not a good backslide.
And that was my biggest thing, was like, if he would have went 7-5 his first year and then went 10-3, I would have been like, okay, that makes more sense. But you went backwards, and then you went backwards in the transfer portal, and then you went backwards in recruiting. You know what I mean? The 2.5 years he's been there. So it's kind of like,
Okay, so there's another one. So we were talking about that last night. How do you not win California when 9 out of the 10 top players in the state are going to either Oregon or Bama?
That's a problem.
That's a problem. It was the same issue at Oklahoma. Why did Oklahoma State get as good as they got right at the end? Because they were getting all the Oklahoma kids, all of them. They weren't even trying to recruit him. So it was just, he never paid any attention to him. All the Oklahoma coaches didn't like Lincoln. They didn't know Lincoln.
Yeah.
You have to win your state. And California has always been one of the richest recruiting grounds. You got it. Nobody could go in and get them from Pete Carroll. Nobody.
Oh God, no. No.
Nobody.
Pete Carroll had third stringers that were future NFL number 1 draft picks, and they were willing to sit on the bench.
Fence around California. You ain't coming in. Yep. You ain't coming in. Yeah,
that's true. And that's what the big worry with a lot of Alabama fans is, like, hey, you know what I mean? Like 7 out of the top 10 are at Auburn right now. And I said, yeah, but you got to give the dude more than 1 year to gain a relationship within the state. The guy had 3 weeks? You know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean,
but it will be looked at.
Going to say how many of those guys have left too, and just in the time that Hugh Freeze is going to. How many people really believe that Hugh Freeze is going to stay out of trouble for very long?
Not only that, it comes down to winning on the field. If you can get all the players you want, Texas is a prime example of this, right? So I don't like to dog out Texas or period.
Go ahead.
Oh, I know you do. Obviously that, right? So I try not to dog out any program like that.
Right.
But these guys had top 10 recruiting classes for God knows how long, and just it couldn't do nothing with it. And you have to develop these guys to some extent. So
man, it's crazy. Yeah, they're killing him.
I like Keaton's statement. Lincoln can't even cook. Dude, that was some of the worst looking briskets.
Oh, dry brisket Lincoln, man. That's one of his nicknames. That was the funniest shit ever. And he was like blocking people on Twitter after that when he was mad. Did not like it that he was getting messed with. Funny stuff. Yeah, he gave up the DFW area. Listen, I find it weird that they are so busy right now in Georgia, but not California. They're not at Crenshaw. They're not going down the road to St. John Bosco, who's won 2 or 3 national championships in the last 5 years or something like that. It's where the Uiagalelei kids played.
Yeah.
You know, and then not only that, then you have where Leinart and them all went. Shit. I forget, man. But anyway, you got these private schools, these big time private schools that play a national schedule. They're right down the road, and you're not getting those guys.
Leinart, was it Modern Day?
Modern Day. Yep. That's the other one I was thinking of. Modern Day.
I believe it is.
Up north, you have those other. They've got what? They've got a bunch of those Catholic schools up north. The same thing. They own those schools. They own them. Not now. And
no.
I was talking to USCJ, and he was saying, he goes, man, they're not even getting the guys that I've brought up Crenshaw High School and stuff like that. He goes, they're not even getting the kids that are in the neighborhood down the road that are really good players that we always would get.
Dude, so I believe it was us. Let me look, or you guys. Somebody got a recruit recently. It was in the past 2 months.
Quarterback. Yeah, we got the
quarterback.
quarterback.
It was in his backyard, literally right in LA.
The 26 quarterback. It's
because I made a video on it in my old channel.
I got it. Jaden O'Neal.
That's
from Harbor
City.
Mm-hmm.
Harbor City, which is literally connected to Los Angeles on the right water
there. Right.
Like, bro,
I don't even think. And the excuse that they made about that one was because he has Julian Lewis. Does he have Julian Lewis? I don't know.
Dude, are you serious? Do you know how many of these teams stack up talent?
Right. No, but he says that he only wants to get one every other year. I've never heard of such a thing in my life. Why you would do that is silly to me. But
is that why he had Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams?
Right.
Because he wanted one every other year. Well, man,
I mean, if he was a one every other year guy, they would have never, because Spencer was there already and he was waiting out Kyler. He showed up and told Kyler he was going to take his job. Then he didn't. Yeah. Then you get, whenever when Jalen Hurts came, it was surprising that Spencer didn't leave at that point. But if that was the thing, he kept on doing that. He did the same thing that he did with Malachi Nelson. He would get a guy to come in transfers. That was what they were doing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't believe that bullshit either. I think it's all crap.
That's hard for me to stomach because what happens if that guy doesn't pan out? Look at Alabama with Blake Barnett.
Has always done every other year, but has he? Well, he did every other year because he's always bringing in the off year a guy in the portal, though. I don't know. So Julian going to Illinois, that makes sense.
A lot of people do say I've seen a lot of word about that.
Auburn, they're Auburn and CU. So look, now I do know whatever. I don't understand what their problem is in NIL. What's going on? Here's what I think: if they have more billionaires at that school than almost any other college in the country, they got money for it. If they're not giving them the money for NIL that they need, they don't want Lincoln there anymore.
Yeah,
that's it. Okay. Man. If that's his recruiting philosophy, then that's because why? It's because he's going after a lot of guys that have already played. He was after Will Howard too. He went and got that Maivia kid from UNLV, he's really good. Really good. I liked him. But I also think that the kid that they got now is pretty good. Miller Moss. He looks good.
Yeah.
He looks good.
So is it Indiana or Illinois? Because I saw the comment. I'm looking it up. Oh, it's Indiana. So not Illinois.
Indiana. Yeah.
So they just really see here. But I know Auburn. I don't think they have him, and I'm not sure where Deuce Knight is committed to, but I know they were trying to flip him at one point.
He's going to Notre Dame.
Okay, so it is him. Auburn's going after Deuce Knight really hard. So
Yep. So Indiana must have somebody that's paying up some cash. Is Mark Cuban in on that deal? Because that's where he went to school.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, I mean, once again, NIL kind of
basketball guy, but yeah. What's up there, numbnuts? What are you doing there? You being nice and shit when you come in? That's weird. It's just like college football nutty comes in here talking smack every time. So this is weird to me. But good morning. Good to see you, man. Surprise! I think he did go after DG. I think he was talking to him first, but I think that it was pretty much locked. I fairly surprised me that he didn't go with Lebby, but not really, because why would you want to go to Mississippi State, especially once Oregon got involved in it? Now, if DG would have went to USC, you would have hated him for sure. And there's already enough fans from Oklahoma that don't like him, but it would have been bad. Yeah, Keaton does it. You don't like the guy, huh? Okay. Bevo does talk a lot of shit. I get it.
Oh, man.
Big Bill versus Flood on pro development. Oh, my God, bro. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Listen, they're debating on that.
Look at the money. All you got to do is look at the money and the 2 deep that he's got all these guys. They've got 12 offensive tackles alone in the NFL right now that are on the 2 deep. Flood doesn't have it. And I think Flood's very good.
He is.
Not saying he's not good. Matt Luke is another very good offensive line coach. Who's the guy that's at Georgia now? Badass. Very good.
I can't think of his name. Georgia's staff is moving around so much.
But yeah. And that's what kind of makes you wonder. It's what we were saying last night about Bama is like, you could tell it was starting to teeter a little bit, and it wasn't because of Saban was losing it, because he was adapting, but he wasn't getting the same guys.
No, absolutely not. Because you got to realize at one point, I forgot the staff he had on hand, but I believe it was 6 head coaches at one time was on the 2015 staff.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. It was something unreal.
Billy and Midnight Mail and
Kirby Smart, Kyle Flood.
Lanning was one of them, right?
Let me look it up. I believe it was the 2015.
Pruitt was another one.
Yeah, Pruitt.
Yeah. Yeah, he had great coaches that were assistants. Think about it.
Let me see here. I'm going to look it up real quick. Because it was something I was like, yeah.
What the Fasusi recruitment for what it really is. OU beat out UT and Aggie for him. Money is the same. It's okay. It is about it. Look, the things that happen. And I'm not saying that he didn't go. He was going to lose on getting. I mean, he was going to be taught well by Kyle Flood. Kyle Flood's done a great job. I'm not talking shit about Kyle Flood. The one thing that they're doing very well at Texas is the offensive line.
So here, okay.
I mean, Bo Davis was killing it, but they let Bo Davis leave. I couldn't believe Sark allowed that. Couldn't believe it.
So here's this staff. Are you guys ready for this? It was actually better than what I thought.
I like
So the head coach, obviously being Saban. Offensive coordinator was Lane Kiffin. Defense coordinator was Kirby Smart. The offensive line coach was Mario Cristobal. The wide receivers coach was Billy Napier. The defensive backs coach was Mel Tucker. The graduate assistant on staff was Dan Lanning, but we also had Tasha Lepoy as outside linebacker, Bo Davis at the defensive line, Burton Burns at running backs, and then Bobby Williams at tight end, and then Scott Cochran as strength condition. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, that I saw that on, I don't know where I saw that, but they had pictures. It was popping up in these pictures, just one after the other. I was like, son of a bitch, that was one staff.
That was one staff.
Yeah. I remember. But then you go, now compare that to last year's staff.
Oh, my God.
You know, I mean, think about it. It's just, it goes to show you that he was like, shit, man, this is getting to be too much.
Yeah, it's hard to keep reinventing yourself. And when you lose staff at a constant rate, and that's what I always criticize Dabo Swinney for, because everybody said Dabo to Alabama. And my biggest thing was, okay, well, let's hold off because we haven't seen him turn over his staff yet. Brett Venables has been there a long time, right? Tony Elliott's been there a long time. Who's you guys? Bates, the defensive line coach for you guys.
Yeah, Todd Bates.
Todd Bates was there for a long time, right? These are all elite guys at what they were doing, right?
Sure.
I know Tony Elliott fell off a cliff when he went to Virginia and all that, but I'm talking about what they were doing there
as a head coach. Yeah, I mean he's not a great head coach.
And then you look Virginia at the turnover.
Too. I mean, who's to say?
Yeah, and of course. But my criticism to Dabo, and what does your team look like without that stacked staff? How can you turn over the staff? And it's just not, in my opinion.
Why do you bring in Garrett Riley and then not let him run his offense?
Makes no sense.
We're gonna run the Clemson offense.
Why won't you use the transfer portal at all?
Right. I don't get it either.
At least one or two guys, like if you can get them.
Look, and I think that who was it that was saying this is a good sample. You know, you've got your control group over here of Clemson because they're not using it. So, but what we're seeing is that, like I said, they were 10-2, then they went 9-3 twice, and now they've gone 8-4. They're headed down.
Yeah,
they're headed down. Whether you want to believe it or not, they are. Now, did they get better receivers this year? Sure, they did. But that just goes to that's another. Okay, so now what? Are we going to continue to blame Cade Klubnik just like we blamed DJU?
To me, I agree 100%. Me as a recruiting guy, I look at recruiting as like
it has to be the biggest part, right? You have to do mostly recruiting,
and it's trending down. Like they're not even in the top 10. So it's like, dude, you won a couple national championships.
Just looking at that, yeah, it's
so
they're not there with it. Yeah, it's bro. It's at some point to me, and he is literally holding his ground and like digging in, saying, "Nope, not gonna do it. Nope." Making stupid comments like, "Oh well, we did get a bunch of transfers. They just came from high school." Come on, bro. Really,
dude?
And when you say that none of the guys in the portal were good enough to play at Clemson, and you went 8-4, and they were in how many playoffs in a row? Like 5 in a row?
It was something ridiculous.
4 or 5 in a row at least, right?
So I know he won 2 out of 3. You know what I mean? So for sure he won 2 out of 3. So they were in at least, I believe, 4. So 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. It's just something ridiculous like that. But yeah, and now, I mean, I'll be honest with you, as an Alabama fan, Clemson has become an afterthought. Before, I would always be like, "Oh, Clemson's going to be in it."
If they make the playoff because they got it out of a fairly weak ACC, so what? They'll be out quick.
Yeah, and yeah, no, for sure.
They'll
like
be out
it's
quick.
going to be interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, so they get the bye, which means that let's say out of the ACC, you're the 3 seed, which means you get what, the 7. More than likely, you're going to get the 7 in the next round. Toast, done.
Their week 1 is going to give it away.
Right. That's going to be a Big Ten school that's right up there near the top, probably a runner-up, or it's going to be, it's going to be the SEC runner-up or the Big Ten runner-up. You're dead.
Yeah, in my opinion, week 1 is going to tell it all. They play Georgia. Yep. You know what I mean? So we're going to find out really quick what this Clemson team is going to look like extremely fast. And it can get ugly.
Expecting that these brand 2 freshman receivers are going to just cure everything. I don't see it. I don't see
Georgia's secondary is
unbelievable,
stacked.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking Georgia. This is what they do. This is what
God
they do.
Help them if Carson Beck is on point. I mean, it can get out of hand quick.
And plus, it's in Atlanta.
Yeah,
you're dead. Toast. Yep, they're screwed. Let's see. Barry Switzer coach team ran for 768 in Boulder during the 1980 season. Holy shit.
Like in one game, ran for 768?
That's awesome. Yeah, man. That's freaking, I forgot that stat, but I think I've heard it a few times. That's insanity. Ooh. That's insanity. You could see that team that when Jamel was the quarterback, when he replaced Troy, they were so good when Jamel was running the option for them. The dude was awesome. What's up there, Big Mike? This is Michael Boganowski's dad, Big Bog. He said, real talk, I think OU's current staff has a chance to do big things with follow-on assignments. Maybe not that Bama staff, but good. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Billy Napier was on that. You said Billy Napier was on that staff too, and Lanning and
Mario Cristobal,
Smart. Yeah, dude.
Lane Kiffin.
Shit.
Like, I mean, Tosh Lapoy, who's one of our biggest recruiters, like Tosh Lapoy was massively overlooked.
He was very good.
But as a recruiter, man, would he lock down the defense.
Dude, unbelievable. Barry stole the wishbone? Okay. Yeah, he stole it from another Oklahoma guy, Darryl Royal. The guy you named your stadium after. Don't start this argument because you're going to lose it there, Bevo. Dude, and that's the thing. Hey, man, these guys, we were talking about it last night. The secondary is so good. Young.
Oh, yeah.
The veteran kids, the brand new kids, doesn't matter. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't expect them to go in there and win it all or anything this year. But if that defense is as good as it looks like it is, they're going to have a chance to win every game.
Like, and I said this on a video too. I said that Oklahoma this year and Texas, but I think it's one of those things where like you got to close your eyes and go through the season and not look at the win-loss total. I think what you want to see is a team come in and progress each week.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And make sure that you're in every game, right? And that, okay, we're here now, right? So, and I'm not saying you're not going to, I already projected Oklahoma at 9-3 or 10-2.
I've been saying 9-3,
10-2
since January. I've been saying
that. So, you know what I mean? And I said the bottom would be 8-4, right? So that's just like, you just lose a game you shouldn't lose. There's some crap like that because that's going to happen occasionally. But yeah, I believe it's got to be one of those things where you got to look at this from a different perspective of you in the Big 12, right? It'd be like Alabama going to a new conference. You got to look at it a little differently. It's not the same anymore. So,
no, I know. Yeah.
But
look, I think that Teddy Lehman said it really well. He was saying that, look, yes, we know the reason that Oklahoma fans are excited about the SEC is not because most people aren't saying we're going to go in there and dominate from day one. There's always a knucklehead or two. But that's not really what people are saying.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's the funny things are like the Missouri fans of the world, or even the Ole Miss and Mississippi State fans or Tennessee fans of the world, that they're not doing anything in this league either. And you're talking about them. You're talking about OU like they're Missouri or Tennessee or even Ole Miss. And that is not the program that you're talking, or even Texas. They're not the same. They are not the same. And if you think that they're just going to come in and be okay with being mid, they would fire BV in a fucking heartbeat if it goes bad. They will not wait. Yeah. He's going to get his time. But with the way that they've recruited, they're showing that they can do that. Now you better show that on the field you're going to coach it right. Because if you're losing when you've got the kind of talent that they have, they're not going to get – the leash will get short. So, and that's just the difference between some programs. Man, I'd love to go 8-4 every year. Okay, that's not okay. It wouldn't be okay at Alabama either.
No.
They fired Mark Richt from Georgia, and he won 10 games a season every damn year almost.
I believe Shula's last year at Alabama, I believe he went 10-2, if I remember correctly. Like it was either 9-3 or 10-2. It was something like that. I know he won 10 games in a season, and a lot of people were like, "Yeah, Shula's going to stay," and they were real quick to be like, "Oh, who's this Nick Saban guy is willing to come to Alabama?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude.
Yeah. How much do you want?
They flew that plane down to Miami. You knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And he wasn't doing good there. He was always unhappy. It sounded like I heard that stuff from Channing Frye. He was like that. He's not a fan of Saban. He said he was trying to say something to him, like I think in the restroom or something, and it was something totally about not football. And Saban wouldn't have the conversation. It was like, I wish you would do this or that. It's like, fuck you, Yeah, but he wasn't doing well with it. He made a bad decision on Dante Culpepper instead of Drew Brees.
Well, no, Saban wanted Drew Brees. That if you go and read it, Saban wanted Drew Brees, and that's why he threw a damn hissy fit in the offseason, because they brought in Culpepper. But look, some people aren't built, like some coaches aren't built for college, some aren't built for the NFL.
I agree.
Saban needs control. Like he needs to be able to put a leash on you and say, this is what you do.
Absolutely.
And he's great at it, right? So, and if you want to go to the NFL and make money, it's a perfect thing for you. But it's not a Dabo Swinney type culture at the time where it was like, we'll bring you in, we'll hold you when you cry and things like this. That's just not going to work. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what people always kind of went back and forth on, is which culture do you want to go to? Now I say, which one
Some
gets you to
guys
the
are fit
NFL?
for it, and some guys aren't. I mean, even Spurrier, man, that experiment didn't last long.
Oh no,
And it wasn't good there. It wasn't working. I mean, it just, but maybe he was a little ahead of his time. But I mean, the ball coach wasn't. It just that kind of stuff wasn't going to play there, and they don't have the same kind of control over the players that they do in college either. In college,
exactly.
Saban can wield that that sword, and he's the man. You're not going to say shit. They're getting paid a lot more than you in the NFL. Most of them, they don't want to hear that rah shit or how in charge you are. They don't care.
No, absolutely not.
It's a different deal. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just like, well, remember Parcells used to bitch and complain about not getting to buy the groceries, whenever he was with the Patriots. But then as soon as Belichick got there, then he became the GM, and it worked out well for him, but it usually doesn't.
90% of the time. Look at Bill O'Brien when he became the GM of Houston. That turned sour.
Dude, yeah.
That went bad real quick when he traded DeAndre Hopkins.
He was on Brenneman's show a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about that. He goes, "Yeah, I sucked at that." He was like,
"That was bad, man." When he traded Hopkins for David Johnson, I was like, "Bro, I don't watch a ton of NFL, but my goodness, dude."
Yeah. Listen, what are we talking about now? Yeah, Shawty's in the sandwich. That stale sandwich. Yep. It don't last very long in the SEC. We know. And you're talking about Mark Richt on that probably. Of course, Shawty played it. That's Coach I and Shawty. Hey, what's up there, Trap? Yeah, I worked for Bill Walsh. Yeah, you're right. But it's rare though. It's rare that those guys even get to do it. And a lot of times, like I remember when Harbaugh was in San Francisco, and he was fighting. From day one that they were fighting with that dumbass dude. Crap. But Harbaugh knew what he was doing, and every time they let him make a selection, he got somebody good. But that wasn't happening that way. Big Trap. Shout out to Trap House Booming, my man. Perfect content.
Yeah. I like the just my damn. Yeah, you will get slapped by a player in the NFL if you step the wrong way. Yeah, and when it comes down to it, some people
they're grown ass.
They need the control. So,
right.
And I may not agree with the way Saban treats players because it's hard to, but it's hard to argue results, and that's why he couldn't be touched. Because you could Les Miles is a prime example. Because he won a championship, everybody would laugh when he would eat grass on the field. They would mock it, but when he stopped winning, the shit wouldn't funny anymore, right?
I was saying that about Beamer the other day. That little act that he does after games, whether you wins or loses, he's a goof. It's funny whenever they won. When they get their ass kicked, you're like, dude, shut up.
Yep. Nobody wants to hear it.
Nobody wants to hear that shit. And I like Shane Beamer, but it's just like you're a cornball.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know that whatever it was, that mayonnaise thing when they were in that bowl game or whatever, and it was just such a weird deal with him. He's such a goober. He's like,
I always resort back to Moneyball when he's like, and that's what losing sounds like. Quiet. Right. So
right. Yeah. Shut up, Shane.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the boosters are saying that. It's funny and when you win. But I mean, look, how many times did you hear like we were talking about the old ball coach. He talk a lot of shit when they kick your ass. Or before the game. They lost. He didn't say much. He went out there acting stupid.
Yep.
And man, it's Shane's a weird dude, man. He makes me laugh though. I'll do it. Hey man, if Trap House tells you if Trap tells you it's Easter, you better color them eggs. Love it when he comes in the show, man. That's my guy. Crazy time. He said, I don't know why, but I have a feeling if Beamer had a tough season, he'll be out. And OU will press the Harbor kid. Oof. Well, and Coach I's nephew's doing really well right now too. Beamer was talking about him on a press conference yesterday. I saw that on Twitter, and they love him. And he's a freshman, true freshman, but he's probably going to play a lot. Ain't no fun when the rabbit's got a gun. That's true. Yeah. Shoddy. Yeah. I don't know, man. Stat guys keep saying that they're not gonna fire him this year. And then our other boy from you got Rooster from over there on his show. He's saying that he thinks that he's safe after he'll have at least another year after this year.
I think
it kind of depends.
I think he does for the circumstance of, I mean, they don't have the toughest schedule, right?
Right.
But what is your expectation of the contract you're currently receiving? I always resort to that. If you're paid on the bottom half of the SEC.
You said that on the show last night, and I heard it on the replay, and I guess it didn't register with me last night, but I was like, dude, that was a great comment. Yeah, you're right.
Like, if you expect big results, you got to pay this guy money, and you got to provide him with the staff to do that. And if you're not, then what do you expect?
Well, now they're making $75 million there, and it's going up to 100 at some point in this contract. What is the excuse at this point? If you're Vanderbilt, if you're any of these schools that never do anything, what is your excuse now?
Vanderbilt will continue to provide one of the best baseball programs in the country. That's what they're worried about.
That's a fact. I agree.
Like, other than that, but the problem is baseball is not one of the top 2 money-making sports, right? They're not basketball, they're not football. So at some point, where does Vanderbilt fall? But at some point also, is there going to be too much competition in the SEC? Like, let's say we boot out, I hate to bring this up, Mississippi State has been dog water for a long time.
Dog water.
And Vanderbilt has been completely trash. We know that. If you replace those guys with better teams,
Ole Miss
at some point,
just recently though, too.
Yeah.
You know,
Ole Miss has never won the SEC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Ole Miss has even been to the SEC championship game. But it's just,
I don't remember them ever being very good. Yeah,
I like Vanderbilt. I like playing Vanderbilt.
Well, they keep definitely they keep up, and they also keep up the the GPA across the conference, so that helps.
Exactly,
I'm sure. But I would, look, I know they do their thing. They're pretty good at basketball. They're pretty good at men's baseball too. So it's those 2 games, but that's not really what stirs the drink, though. That's not really what helps the conference. Now, I agree with what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying about, you got to have some teams got to lose.
Yeah.
So, you got to have some of those. But I would think that you're starting to hear stuff like that, though, that these TV execs are like, look, we want you to take your hires more seriously, pointing to what you were just saying about Beamer and his staff. He's not getting that much money, and he's not being able to hire the best staff. Whatever they're doing with their NIL, I think they're doing okay there. They do. I think he recruits very well, but I don't know.
He does.
I think he recruits very well. I don't know why if you're Clemson, you're not going after guys like Maceo, Coach I's nephew. It just doesn't make sense why they're not going after those guys. But they're not, and they haven't been good in that receiver room in a while now. And again, it's just weird to me. But again, I would say that you keep hearing that the networks are like, look, you're going to have to start doing this. If we're going to continue paying, this product has to get better, not worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there you're shouting right there. Exactly on point with it. GPA booster.
Yeah. I've heard that line before. I just beat him to it this time. I've heard that line before. Benji, SEC got to tell Vanderbilt they got to do something. It's like they're taking money and lining their pockets, right? But see, they're grandfathered in all the way back to the start. I'm not sure that they'll ever do anything about Vanderbilt. Now, do I think that the Big Ten could start kicking people out? Absolutely. I could see that.
I wonder if there's something. I want to look this up real quick. I wonder if there's something Vanderbilt has in writing with the SEC, some underwriting rule or something like that. Because that'd be interesting. Because they've been bad for a very long time.
Okay,
let's see here.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at this thing in Discord real quick. Stephen G's talking about why we have a good chance for Fasusi. Okay, I want to see. Yeah. It's very much so. So, highest graded rookie offensive tackles this preseason. Number 1, Tyler Guyton, who was the right tackle last year, and Walter Rouse, which was the left tackle, is number 2 at Minnesota. And he was a 6th rounder. They developed well. Look, I've told you, look, Kyle Flood is a very good coach. He's not better than BB. You got to stop with that, Bevo. You just got to stop. James Franklin winning 9 games at Vandy is still one of the more impressive things I've ever seen. I agree, Sports Geek. I can't argue that. But I've heard some stuff about what was going on while he was at Vandy too. And it's starting to kind of creep its ugly head up at Penn State as well.
Yeah.
I heard he's kind of he's a little what's the word I'm looking for here? Midnight mailish. Maybe. The conversations with Mel Tucker were hilarious. When I was reading all the transcripts from that. It was funny stuff.
Oh yeah.
JJ Kitchen he's the one that called him Midnight Mail that first time. Dying laughing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, not
dude,
everybody.
They're saying South Carolina, like, and Mississippi State and Ole Miss would be removed from the SEC before Vanderbilt. That's insane. Like, I'm trying to find the reason
on there. There's something going on there. Yeah. It's got to be. Well, there's a lot of money. The Vanderbilt's one of the richest. They used to be one of the richest families in the world, so that makes sense.
It's money. Their money.
Definitely money. Yeah,
it's money. No, it says it's money.
Yeah, the Vanderbilt. So they used to be the richest people. They were the railroad people. They owned America.
So they're saying the ties with money in the SEC in other programs. We're talking other schools they have money in. That's wild. So they're sharing their money is what's going on here. Essentially, is how they're staying in.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I did not know that. I
The
knew that to be
big
something
factor is Vandy. Yeah, that makes sense though. All right, I'm gonna play this for them real quick.
You know what, guys? In a nice way, fuck y'all. We don't give a shit.
Shotty was in here for that one. That was good.
Do that.
And man, I don't know how many people have watched that The Men Who Made America thing that was on, like, I don't know if it was Discovery Channel or whatever, but it was about all those guys from way back in the day. The Vanderbilts and there was the Commodore Vanderbilt, and then it was the oil guy, Chase.
Yeah,
dude, it's wild. Wild, the stuff that was going on back then. But they had more money than the rest of the world combined between like 4 guys.
Yeah. What was the family on the East
JP
Coast?
Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah, JP Morgan. But
JP Morgan, the Vanderbilts, it was then it was
it's like a family.
Standard Oil, so it was, damn it.
And they still supposedly say they run the world still, like their family does.
A lot of are you talking about the Koch brothers?
No,
they kind of do. They're way up there, but I don't know that it's just him. I think you're maybe thinking about
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember too. I watched that. It was a great show, actually. I was watching it a lot, but it'll come to me. Rockefellers.
Rockefellers. There we go. Rockefellers. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Boom.
Yep. That's the oil people. J.B. Rockefeller.
And right now, the Walton family. Holy crap. Let's see. The Walton family is the second richest in the world.
Oh, yeah. Behind like the prince out in Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Literally, Al Nahyan family, the Abu Dhabi royal family.
Yeah. And that's the thing is there's so much of that money is spread out throughout the Saudi. That family is huge. Yeah. Every one of them are billionaires. And imagine if it was all just to one guy. It wouldn't be, nobody would be close.
238 billion.
Oh.
The Walton family
is not that far behind that though, I don't think, is he? He's just maybe not.
He's not in that range. The Walton family is 203 billion. The Hermes family. Who's that? The French fashion house.
The
So they're-
Rockefellers and the Rothschilds still run the world, you think? Hey, man, there's a lot of money out
They
there.
gotta be, bro. They gotta be. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. My God.
Yeah.
Carnegie. Yeah.
The Carnegies. Yes, that's
Yeah.
another one. JP Morgan, Vanderbilt, Rockefeller. There you go, Coach Ricks, my man. I guess you watched it as well. It was a good show. The Men Who Built America. Men Who Made America. That's what it is. It was a good show. But that makes sense, though, that now that you're talking about Vanderbilt and why would they not ever get kicked out? Because they have more money than God. That's why. And same with like Notre Dame. Why do they get to do what they want? Because they have more money than God.
Private funding.
Yeah.
So
dude, Notre Dame's I think it's like 20 or 30 billion dollars is their and it's not even their athletic fund. We're talking about just their, what's it called? Man, I'm struggling with words today. I'm telling you.
It's early, bro. What's early for me? But yeah.
Yeah, listen, I was up all night, so I was gonna go for a little while, but we're gonna jump off here shortly. Let's see. Bevo's weird ass really wanting to be thought of what way? He's like, SEC will never kick Vanderbilt. No, you're not. No, that's what you keep hearing that. They'd kick out Ole Miss and Mississippi State first.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're kicking out anybody, by the way. They don't.
No.
The thing about the SEC, they want to stay in their footprint. They have no desire to be a coast-to-coast league. This is what the SEC is. This is what it is, but
Bevo Sarkisian invented offense.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
No, he didn't. No, he's not even as good as Lane. I don't think he's as good as Lane. Yeah, and I don't think Lane is as good as all the other guys. I don't think he is. I think that DeBoer might be better.
I want to see DeBoer without Ryan Grubbs first, which will be at Alabama, right?
We're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see.
Because I have to give a lot of credit to Ryan Grubbs. Unfortunately, he didn't come to Alabama, but now, at the same time,
plays though. Who's calling plays?
So Jamarcus Shepard is going to be the play caller.
Okay.
The wide receivers coach, because he was a co-offense coordinator at Washington with Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubbs. So Ryan Grubbs was the play caller when he was there because he had time to learn the system. Yeah. And Kalen DeBoer was grooming Jamarcus Shepard to be the next guy to call the plays already. So he's going to be calling the plays this year. While Nick Sheridan, Jake explained it last night. There's a whole system they have in place on how they're going to be doing this. So
Stephen G says Lincoln, Day, Kiffin, then Sark. I would probably put Chip in front of those guys too. Chip, you know why Ohio State's going to be really good? Chip is going to spread them out and run it right down everybody's throat. They're not going to throw the ball around as much this year. They're not.
That offense should be literally unstoppable. Who you have on staff?
Nobody should be able to stop them. Nobody. Now, their line wasn't great last year, and that I know that offensive or that center you guys had you didn't like.
Oh my! Did you watch?
Trash. He was trash.
Watch.
He was trash.
God.
But we've seen what Chip does, man. He doesn't care if he ever throws the ball. He doesn't care.
Nope. He'll run off tackle all day
long.
All day.
Will Howard will better get ready because he's going to run more. And I mean, he came from that kind of an offense anyway, so it's not going to hurt his feelings. He wasn't a great passer. You guys getting awfully little, you guys are all snarky at each other in here today.
Try to picture the same.
The Red River never sleeps, brother. The Red River never sleeps.
I'm having my first live stream, just the all Alabama live stream tonight with Jake. If you have time, we got to bring you on, man, and do like a national one.
Okay.
And because my first one's gonna be tonight on the channel.
Right on.
Yeah. And just talking a little bit of Alabama, it's just gonna be a quick one. But yeah, I'm interested to see the Auburn fans coming in.
They do. That Chris guy's always in there raising hell. He's always in there with all those guys that Jake and Ty and those dudes. Always.
Yeah.
And he doesn't give a shit.
No, they don't. And that's the thing I'll give Auburn fans. And that's what I told a lot of OU fans on Facebook, these Facebook groups, is like a lot of them, you got to get some thick skin if you don't already, because I'm telling you right now, leading up to that Tennessee game, every damn team in the SEC for some reason thinks they're the best team ever. And you're going to hear about it all week. And God forbid you lose, because then you're hearing about it for a year.
You, if Oklahoma doesn't beat Missouri this year,
oh my gosh.
Oh.
And it goes both ways.
1 year that they do something. And I mean, literally, crap schedule. Oklahoma, now they have definitely earned the ass whipping they're going to take. But if for some stupid reason that was the game that Oklahoma lost, I'd want to throw up everywhere. I would want to throw up everywhere.
That's the game you don't want to lose. And I'll be honest with you, if you guys beat Tennessee, I'm going to be dogging Tennessee, because I have seen so much shit to Oklahoma fans. It is unreal.
What's up, Stat?
So,
my guy, Stat guy.
He's
like, dude, yeah, dude. Hey, well, I think we were talking about it with Stat and Coach I the other day or recently, and it was like, yeah, they're as bad as anybody. That literally, what have they done since T. Martin was their quarterback? Nothing. And they still act like,
I don't know how to explain it, bro. Like, since '98, and you won the national championship. You had Peyton Manning, which never won a national championship there, and it's just
they haven't. It's not like you haven't even competed since then, though. Really.
Well, they were 1-16 against Alabama.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen,
I think that Josh is doing a good job. Then we're, we all love Josh as Oklahoma fans, but I think he's doing a good job. I mean, look at what Pruitt left. There's no way they should have been as good as fast as they got good. Now, can you get them over the hump? I don't know if it's possible at this point. I don't even know if it's possible.
So deep. The SEC, that's why I say, like, there is no team, in my opinion, in the SEC that's just gonna dominate anymore. There's too much. There's too many good teams.
It's too good. When you own recruiting,
yeah, literally.
Aside from Ohio State and I guess right now Oregon, and Oregon's always going to get people.
Well, they've slipped this year. Like, believe it or not, they're actually.
Well, they didn't. I mean, they haven't beaten Oklahoma yet in recruiting yet since he got there. They've been there the same amount of time. But I don't know. But Ohio State I think if it depends on the list you're looking at, but if you're looking at talent roster, it's either Bama or OSU on all of anybody's rankings, the talent roster, even after all the guys left from Bama.
Right now, so according to 24/7 Sports, you have 6 of the top 10 in the SEC. Oklahoma's at 11. We're looking at, like, if they get Fasusi, they're going to jump. Yeah, they're definitely going to jump. Oregon's, they're only 3 points behind Oregon, so they're jumping the top 10. It'd be 7 of the top 10, right? Mm-hmm. And then Texas is at 14.
Well, that still puts you way the hell behind. Or supposedly we're behind.
When you're sitting at 258 points, let's say you get Fasusi, you're probably looking at like 262, 263. So you'll be right behind. You'll be right behind Miami. Alabama's sitting at 303, and Ohio State's sitting at 310. They're way ahead. It's like
right. And how many guys have you guys lost that you had committed or whatever recently?
Total flips and decommits is a total of 11.
Wow.
So yeah, but a lot of them was like guys that weren't playing. Well, when Saban retired.
Oh yeah.
So a lot. I mean, none of them were. Most of them weren't starters, and most of them were like buried on the depth chart. You know what I mean? But let's be real. Like, we're talking 2025, right? And we're somehow still number 2. Like, and it's because I feel like, once again, I know people want to say, "Oh, Alabama didn't own Alabama this year." Yeah, you're right, but we owned California.
I don't think they're going anywhere, man. I'm not saying anything bad about Bama. But Bevo, come on, man, just say stuff to say it. Y'all would trade your entire wide receiver room for Luther Burden? No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. There's a lot of wide receivers in that room. I don't know that Luther's is going to be better than Deion Burks is this year. Good luck with that. You know what you don't have there. What they don't have at Missouri is a 1,600-yard rusher now. That's why they were as good as they were on offense last year. It wasn't because of Luther Burden and Cook. Those guys were definitely very good. But if you don't have a guy that runs for 1,600 yards like Schrader, they don't get open like that.
Yeah.
That's what comes from loaded boxes, is the stuff that Luther Burden and Cook were doing. You know, I wouldn't try. Yeah, I'm with you, Ryman. You're right. If NU gets the best of Colorado next month, I love this one, Neilio. Having Rayola beat Shador jacks up the national media's infatuation of Matt Rule's program. The media's been waiting. Oh, dude, they will love it if Nebraska gets good. I don't think it's the year, but
I wish they would, only because college football feels weird without Nebraska being at least decent.
I think that you need Nebraska as a decent program too. And
I'm
I've
not
always
saying
thought that college football is better when USC's good. It is.
Yeah, it's more because you got coast to coast, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I love the midnight games when I have nothing else to watch.
I'd trade me for a Klondike bar too, Ryman. I get it. Dude, stop. You know, how come Sark didn't go after Silas Bolden before he went after Deion Burks? It's not always a numbers thing. It's not always a numbers thing. I loathe the Huskers. I knew that was coming. I knew that was the next sentence there, Neilio. No doubt.
All right, brother. I'm going to get off here, man.
I got to get to, man. I got to get to. Thanks for coming in again. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. No, of course. I appreciate everybody in the comment section getting on here. And, of course, Mars Jam.
He did have a question. Real quick, top 3 defenses.
Oh, what are the top 3 defenses? Well, Georgia is going to be number 1.
Okay.
Behind Georgia, man, I don't want to say it's going to be Alabama. I don't know what the 4-2-5 looks like personally, right. So I'm not going to say Alabama. Oklahoma is going to be in the top 3. I don't know if it's. I would probably put Oklahoma 2 or 3. Other than that, man, like when you look across the board, Florida has they have the dudes on the defense to be there. But the problem is their schedule is not going to make it look that way. They just have too hard a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't reflect that. So I'll say, and look, unless it's the biggest turnaround in history, one of them, kind of like Lynn did at USC, or supposedly going to do at USC, LSU is not going to be there.
No way. No way. They didn't get anybody. No. They didn't get anybody, man, except for freshmen. I love Dominic McKinley. They lost that guy to the whatever, taping the sex or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was their best safety. I don't know what they're going to do there. I know they got new coaches and everything. Maybe they'll be better, but are you going to be good enough on offense like you were last year? I don't think so. You lost your best receivers and your quarterback.
Yep.
I like Nussmeier, but I don't think, even if you're close, they better be a lot better on defense or it doesn't get better. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I don't need, not that quick. And I have, man, I can't, I'll be honest with you. There's not another team, because Missouri lost so much last year off the defense. Otherwise, I would say Missouri, but Missouri lost damn near their whole defense.
Right.
So
they gave up 50 to LSU too, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
With that defense. But that being said, now you lost almost the whole secondary, right?
Yeah,
no,
they're all gone.
Tennessee's defensive line is very good, but what are they on the back end? I don't know. That doesn't sound like they've great.
Unknown. They're unknown on the back end. In all honesty, they haven't looked good on the back end in a while. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a team that we don't expect. You know what I mean? They're not going to be an elite team that's going to win a lot of games. It's going to be somebody like in Arkansas, because you see that a lot. Where like in Arkansas, Florida, a team like that, just they have a stout defense.
A team that runs more or whatever. Yeah, I get it, man.
It's just complementary to the defense.
I think it's hard for Oklahoma to necessarily be number one because of who they play, because you are going up against the best offenses. But I do think they're a top 3. We've been saying that a lot. I think
Coach
they're a
Rick's
top 5.
noted.
I think they're going to be I'll do big.
There we go. I would definitely put that on Kentucky for sure. And I think Vanderbilt is looking really good at Kentucky. So I think
good call.
helps.
That is a good call.
Yep. So I would put Kentucky up there.
It's going to be. So what do you think of the quarterback though? You think he's going to be good?
Vanderbilt, I believe he is. I don't think he's going to be what everybody's putting him out to be.
It's kind of tough to do there.
But I'll be honest with you, man. Looking at their practices in fall camp, that dude has been lighting it up.
I watched some stuff on I think I was watching on YouTube the other day, and he looks legit.
Yeah.
But he never found his way onto the field at Georgia, but sometimes you just need to change the scenery.
Bro, I mean, look how long Stetson Bennett held it down as a walk-on, and they won national championships.
Bro, that guy's a legend, though, man. That's almost Baker Mayfield shit. In fact, it may be better because he actually won the 2 natties. But
yeah,
for Baker to walk on twice and be top 5 in the Heisman 3 times, go number 1.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, bro. And planted the flag, which was my favorite moment.
My favorite moment too. Still my favorite.
I can't stand Ohio State, so
me neither.
But I do appreciate you let me on here, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, have fun.
Later. All right, boys and girls. Thank you to Jonathan Lewis for coming in. Make sure you guys get over there and subscribe to his channel if you have not already. He puts out some good stuff, man. I like Jonathan. Michael Fasusi to the Sooners. That's coming soon. Guys, I got to get out of here. I've got people coming into the studio wanting stuff from me, and I've been on for a while. So appreciate everybody stopping in. Looks like it's going to be Fasusi. Make sure that you guys check out Coop and obviously Coop and Jay on Unfair Sports. I'm pretty sure they're going to be going live around that time. I'm going to go get some rest. I will see you guys back tonight, or maybe not tonight, but we'll be going to have an announcement for you guys for sure, either tomorrow or Friday. Got a couple of things I got to do, but I will talk to you guys about it coming up. Hey, man, we're excited about coming up with the season, man. It's almost here. No more weekends without college football until January now, or late January. It's getting better. Good times. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. I hadn't even checked on the lives on how many times you guys have hit the like button. I'm hoping that you did. It's a free way to help the program. Come on now. Please, please, please. No more 2 hours. No. Hey, we're going to, there's some good, well, we'll have the announcement either tomorrow or Friday. Talk to you guys probably in the Discord about it as well. Hey, become a member if you can. If you haven't already, jump in there with us in the Discord. I'll be in there a little bit in the Discord before I take my nap here in a little bit. But thanks, everybody, for coming in. We'll see you all on the next one. Which one is it? It's right there.